So, good evening, friends. Good evening. Welcome to this meeting, an important meeting on RERA and how it gives challenges and opportunities for professionals to enter into the RERA field. Friends, as we all know, RERA has been there for quite some time, but still there are many of us who are not into that RERA practice, and we know that there is a long good scope for RERA practice. That's why who other than Ramesh Prabhuji to guide us on how to go about this practice. At the outset, I would like to thank our chairman Shashankji and vice chairman Kamlesh Sabu, who have taken efforts to organize this program for the benefit of the members. And thank you, Ramesh Prabhuji, for accepting and coming in and giving us a presentation at a small notice. I would initially request our chairman Shashank Bhai to kindly say a few words before we move into the session. Shashank Bhai, please.
Thank you, Vijay Bhai. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I am Shashank Mithaiwala, chairman of AIFTP West Zone. Welcome you all in today's webinar on RERA. My co-office bearers, my committee members, our national office bearers, past chairman, galaxy of past chairmen, today's webinar coordinator, and my colleagues and senior members. I welcome all of you on today's webinar. I am also honored to welcome our today's learned speaker, CA Shri Ramesh Prabhu sir, for esteemed presence to this webinar. Today we are gathered here to gaining knowledge for our esteemed speaker and fulfill the motto of our federation to update our members. Knowledge is the most valuable wealth for us. So not to take too much time, once again, warm welcome all of you in today's webinar. Thank you. Vijay Bhai, please continue.
Thank you, Shashankji, for the welcoming words. And without wasting much time, I would request Haresh Chugani to kindly introduce our today's speaker. Haresh Bhai, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And happy Janmashtami and Gokulashtami to everybody. CA Ramesh Prabhu is a practicing chartered accountant and CISA USA qualified with experience of more than 3 decades and whose opinion is sought on various laws and issues, particularly in RERA and cooperative society sector. He is a partner in RS Prabhu and Associates Chartered Accountants firm, chairman of Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association, a Mumbai-based registered NGO, which is spreading the cooperative society movement across Maharashtra. And he is also a chairman of Swagat Housing Finance Company Limited. He is a regular faculty and task force member with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has addressed number of seminars and webinars organized by WIRC, ICAI, government department, newspaper, political parties, NGOs, etc. He is the co-opted member of Cooperative Committee of Maharashtra by WIRC of ICAI for last few years. He has practical in-depth knowledge of cooperative and housing sector. He is author of 40 books on issues like conveyance, transfer of flats, parking, collection of dues from members, and service tax for housing societies. He has authored 4 books on RERA, covering all important issues. See Maharera Practice Manual to be published by WIRC of ICAI. He is editor of MSWA Housing Societies Review, having circulation of 35,000 copies with readership of over 1.50 lakhs across Maharashtra state. He was appointed by Government of Maharashtra in 2008 on its committee for drafting the law for deemed conveyance. He was invited to discuss before the Parliament Committee of Government of India to discuss draft bill of RERA, and most of his suggestions were incorporated in the final approval of the said act. His book on deemed conveyance was released by Shri Prithviraj Chavan, ex-Chief Minister, Government of Maharashtra, with a forward message from Her Excellency Srimati Pratibha Bhai Patil, the then President of India, and CA Ramesh Prabhu had occasion to be presidential guest at Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi. He is member of the Committee of Governor of Government of Maharashtra to include a separate chapter for Cooperative Housing Society in the MCS Act 1960, MCS rules, election rules and bylaws. He has become synonymous with housing society redevelopment and RERA matters in Maharashtra. He has authored book on self-redevelopment released by ex-Chief Minister Shri Uddhav Thackeray, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, in February 2020. With this, I present before you our today's esteemed speaker, Mr. Ramesh Prabhu. Over to you, Mr. Vijay.
Yes, thanks, Harish, for such a beautiful introduction. And I would not like to come in between you and the learned speaker. So, Prabhuji, it's all yours. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijay Keval Ramani sir, Harish Chogani sir, Advocate Shashank Mitaiwala Chairman, as well as Vice Chairman CA Kamlesh Samu. Thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful session on professional opportunities in RERA for a professionals as well as in redevelopment. When we talk about Mumbai, redevelopment has become a buzzword. Each second building is going for redevelopment. More than 50% of Mumbai and MMR region is covered by slum. So slum redevelopment, cess building redevelopment, and private societies redevelopment, collector land, MADA building, and various others, redevelopment has become a part and parcel. Now, when we talk about redevelopment, there are n number of opportunities. Whether we talk about drafting of the development agreement, preparing a tender document, whether giving a consent, preparing the minutes, or following the due process as required under Section 79A of the MCS Act, or following the due process as per the bylaws and the Act. Some of the non-consenting members, naturally, there are litigations which happen, and then various other mode. So when we talk about RERA, RERA also has given huge opportunities. It starts with the registration of a project, and till the closure of the project, the professionals, whether it's a chartered accountant, advocates, and architect, engineers, are equally required. So therefore, the RERA also has given enough opportunity. When we talk about RERA, real estate has got two segments. One is about the redevelopment, which is in the developed cities, where after 30-40 years of development, brownfield development has started. And the other thing which we talk about is the open field, and also in the redevelopment part of the one which we are selling. So the redevelopment is not right now covered under RERA, but anything which is not covered under RERA, however, the selling portion which is given to the allottees for a price, naturally it is covered under RERA. So therefore, both the opportunities are very important as far as real estate is concerned. Now, to put everything, I would say that any law, whether it's a redevelopment or RERA, both are giving an opportunity to 5C. What are the 5C that we are talking about? The first C is considered as a consultancy, whether to go for redevelopment or to go redevelopment, and then if I have to go, how I have to go, what are the compliance need to be done. The second C as a professional opportunity is a compliance. Compliance related to the commercial law, compliance related to the MCS Act, compliance related to the DCPR, compliance related to development control promotion regulations, or compliance related to the various GST, income tax, stamp duty registration, various things. So the compliance is the second part. The third part comes is the complaint redressal. If there are certain people who are not giving assurance or giving consent, or somebody is taking us to the court, the litigation comes as a compliance or the complaint redressal. The fourth is about the commercial law impact. The redevelopment or RERA is not related to only real estate development. It has other commercial law impact, whether it's a labor law, whether it is a particular state laws, and income tax is also part of the commercial transaction, then professional tax, then of course GST and other contract act, transfer of property act, registration act, so many commercial laws which are getting affected. So the consultancy, compliance and complaint redressal related to that commercial law. And the last is collaboration. This is a law, real estate, where it is not the only one person professional who can go ahead. It is requires a lot of gamut of people, whether it is related to the architect, engineer, advocates, and other service provider. So it gives you a collaboration and networking. So this way, this is a huge opportunity for a chartered accountant. So I have some throat problem, and therefore I have requested my two of the colleagues to deal with both of these. Aditya Jante, who is a chartered accountant, practicing for the last more than 15 years, having registered more than 500 projects. He will be dealing with the professional opportunity in RERA. And my other colleague, Amit More, who is also expert, and last 15 years he is into real estate, cooperatives, and other thing. Along with me, he has practiced. So he will be dealing more with the what is known as the redevelopment process and the opportunities for the chartered accountant. With this, I request Aditya Jante to take over. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Aditya, can you be there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Any question answer? Certainly, I will be there to address question answer at the end of the session. Thank you very much. Yeah, Aditya, you can share.
Okay.
This spotlight can be put on Aditya. Yeah, thank you.
I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. So a very good evening, everyone. Basically, this PPT is being prepared by my friend C. Amit More only. So professional opportunities के बारे में हम लोग देखते हैं. ये बहुत बड़ा PPT है, 42 slides का PPT है. But here I will, you all are since senior and you all already aware of most of the things in the RERA. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग कुछ टचअप करते हैं कि अभी बहुत सारे चेंजेस जो है या फिर कैसे हम लोग के लिए प्रोफेशनल अपॉर्चुनिटीज रेरा में यहाँ पे डेवलप हुई है एंड आगे जाके भी हाउ दिस प्रोफेशनल अपॉर्चुनिटीज विल ओनली इंक्रीज बिकॉज फ्रॉम 1st September onwards if you are practicing in Maharashtra then from 1st September onwards there will be a major change, new website, already the training module has they have released the training schedule for all the advocates, promoters, and agents, so that they will train the all the professionals and the promoters with respect to the new website, which is going to be live from 1st September 2024. And you will see a makeshift in that website wherein all the details will be digital, and it will be helpful for the buyers and the professionals also to gain a momentum in the industry and have an insight into the project. So that is the main point of discussion going forward when we will have the new website, and accordingly we have a lot of opportunities in RERA. Now, what is the compliance burden due to RERA is the first of all we have to understand that in RERA lot of compliance burden has increased because earlier this was an unregulated sector. तो यहाँ पे जो प्रमोटर था उसके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल नहीं था. So basically now there is a control with respect to his agreements. You can say he's launching, how he advertise. जहाँ पे यहाँ पे penalties है around 10 to 50,000 rupees penalty is there for fake advertisements or wrong advertisements. Yeah, on brokers. So they're controlling all the promoters and the brokers from all the sides. Even you can say the advertisement, what will go into the advertisement, the QR codes, your registration numbers. So all this has been minutely observed. And the latest development is that the Advertisement Standard Council of India has signed an MOU with MahaRERA. And now they are targeting those advertisement on the social media. कि आप Facebook पे अगर ads कर रहे हो या फिर कहीं पे digital media पे ad कर रहे हो तो वो track करता है. उन्होंने AI basis पे they track those ads, and उसमें वहां पे अगर कहीं पे रेरा नंबर नहीं लिखा है या QR code नहीं mention किया है, so automatically the screenshot and everything is sent to the promoter, and he is given the opportunity to reply. If he doesn't reply, then a penalty is charged around 10 to 50,000 on the promoter or the agent. So whoever is involved in that, they charge those penalties, and a lot of orders, around 750 orders, have been already published, and it is posted on the MahaRERA website. So this is what digital, and you have to be ready now because they will see to it that more it will be in a digital manner rather than the physical and the paperwork, because right from the day one all the submissions were online. So now they are going one step ahead also in this case, and that will reduce a lot of paperwork. With model agreement, they have come out with model agreement. Later they came out with allotment letters. So model allotment letter, and I predict that in future they might come with a model conveyance deed also for in RERA, because now 90% of the projects, once they complete, the conveyance status has to be uploaded after 3 months, within 3 months of the date of the OC. Every 3 months they have to update the conveyance status on the MahaRERA portal. But yet there is no format which has been released by the MahaRERA. So if they require a standardized format, standardized procedure for the new projects which are not yet stuck and which has got the OC, at least they should do the conveyance in a timely manner. So that would be the agenda in future we will see in RERA. Then cash flow planning for maintaining liquidity. Here the issue is we have financial discipline in RERA. So there is a control over the deposits, there is a control over the withdrawals. All the system is controlled currently. That is the reason if he is not complying with this, then the promoter will definitely face the issues in cash crunch because his accounts will be freezed. And now we have a proper bank account regulations, because earlier we were not having any such order related to bank accounts. Only Gujarat RERA, then we can have Goa RERA and UP RERA. They had released those circulars, but now we have a proper order for functioning of the bank accounts, how the bank accounts of the promoter, how the bank accounts of the landowner will function in RERA. So they have already released that regulation, and they have circulated to all the public sector banks, all the banks covered in the second schedule of RBI, and they have guided them how to control these accounts. And immediately, this was not happened yet, but now the banks will immediately freeze the bank accounts of the promoter once the project date is expired. So it will again face the promoter will face an issue of the cash crunch if his account is blocked on date of the expiry of the project. So he has to be well in advance, be prepared for all the compliances. So now the concentration is on compliance. Earlier, the concentration was on litigation to solve as many litigations of the old project. And still it is there. But now they have understood that compliance is the key. If we treat give a proper treatment at the roots itself, then we will have the fruits definitely. So they have accordingly done the compliance. They have targeted the compliance, and in future, post completion also, they might target the issues such as conveyance, then defect liability period. So these are the issues they might target. Right now also, if you will see, 4 days back we have got a new regulations, amendment regulations 2024, wherein they have come up with a new format of quality assurance. Form 2A is a new format which now they are targeting the quality of the project. They are asking the engineer what are the various materials being used, what is the quality of those materials. So a detailed questionnaire we can say in the Form 2A, that is the quality assurance certificate to be issued by the engineer once in year, is given. So now the responsibility of engineer is also again increased further. So these are the various compliance burdens due to RERA, and the real estate sector issues before reforms. You all are aware, so I don't have to report what were the issues which were there earlier, and most of the issues are solved. But still, there are further issues such as timely compliances relating to the complaints, then completion of the projects. These are the further issues which need state government, central government support, and then only we will be able to complete these projects on time, because of the major issue here in the real estate sector is the funds. So that has to be controlled. It is controlled, but the influx of the funds into the sector is also at the time very much important. So it has to be supported with the demand and supply, and then only this will be able to solve. Only the control of the funds is not important, but influx of funds into the real estate sector is now the key area, wherein the timely completion of projects can be ensured if timely permissions and also influx of the funds is there. So these are the two basic things which are still to be tackled at certain point of time, because considering the developers' credibility, the banks are hesitant for funding those projects. So this was the journey on the implementation of the RERA. You all are aware how it came into the picture. the RERA was introduced in 2016, but it is all the sections were enabled from 1st May 2017, and in Maharashtra also we have from 1st May 2017, and the rules came into picture. So we have till now only one amendment, 2029 rules. Only one single of time the rules have been amended, and regulations. Yeah, time to time they have amended the regulations. We had in 2017 the principal regulations, then 2019 two times they had amended, and then 2021 they have changed all the forms which were issued in this in RERA in Maharashtra. And after 2021, now again in 2024, they have come up with the amendment, regulation 2024. And in this, only one single form has been issued, that is Form 2A, that is a fresh form they have issued, and it is a quality assurance certificate. Now, what was the basic objectives and the purpose of the RERA? To establish a regulator, to have the proper accreditation of the project, mandatory public disclosure norms, obligations of the promoters, obligations of LOT. So they targeted all the stakeholders in this particular sector. For example, the main three stakeholders were the LOT, the promoter, and the agent. So if you see the RERA Act, all the compliances, all the major responsibilities on the promoter, the next responsibilities on the agents, and the third responsibilities on the LOTs. And the right wise, you can say the major responsibilities of the LOTs. Rights are of the LOTs. They have given, it is a customer centric. We can say the RERA Act is customer centric. So major rights as per section 19. You can say all the sections speaks about rights of the LOTs and few rights of the promoters, and the agents' rights are not covered under the act, because agents are considered as professionals. So like other professionals like advocates, chartered accountants, or the engineers, so they are also now a professional body into the RERA, and they have a proper certification, especially in state of you can say UP RERA. There is a certification course for agents. In Maharashtra also we have a certification course, and other states will soon follow, because these are the major states wherein maximum projects are registered. Now coming to the legal discipline, we have seen that various disclosures have been introduced in the especially in Maharashtra. If I am talking about Maharashtra, lot of disclosures have been introduced for right from the, if your project is mortgaged, then you have to give fair disclosures. If you are selling, then you have to give quarterly disclosures. Then your agreement for sale. Earlier, we have seen that the agreement for sale was not so much verified in terms of what is the legal standing of those clauses and all. But now it is given a lot of importance. And unless and until those clauses are properly adhered to, there are non-negotiable clauses, there is parking clauses being introduced, then amenities related clause being introduced. So unless and until those clauses are being properly followed, the agreement for sale is not sanctioned by the RERA authorities. And you might say that promoter might change those clauses later on. Yes, that's very well possible. But in that case also, that will be void ab initio, and anyone can challenge the legality of those clauses if those clauses are being altered later on and it has been added into the customer's agreement. So these are the various strict controls they have established. We have a model agreement, and even in Supreme Court, this issue has been pending that we should have a model standard agreement for the entire country. So this adds up now in Maharashtra. At least we have agreement for sale, we have letter of allotment, and as per section 4 also there is a requirement, one which is still left. There is a requirement of uploading of format of the conveyance date, which is not yet asked by the most of the RERA authorities, and even in Maharashtra this issue is pending. So that will also be solved in the coming years, I think so. Basically with respect to the model form of conveyance date, the promoter cannot accept booking money which is more than 10%. Now this was a major issue. Whenever the developers used to launch the project, they used to have different terms such as EOIs, advance money, booking money, and they used to offer discount and give accept more than 10% of the agreement value. So this is somewhere controlled as per the section 13, which is strictly allowed or not allowed, and the responsibilities on the promoter. If you read the language of section 13, it is clearly that the promoter is not allowed to accept more than 10%. So, even if the allottee is offering the amount, the deposit of the money into the bank account of the promoter itself is violation, is in violation of the section 13. So that is clearly stated in section 13. So the investor concept, we can say that it is somewhere that has to be taken care by the promoter. Otherwise, it will go against the promoter, because investor, as in, I would consider that as an investor, he is a promoter of the project, because unless and until there is an agreement for sale, we cannot term him as an allottee. But here the issue is that the letter of allotment is also issued to such investor. So there is a protection given. They can have a protection of the allottees also. And here it is the responsibility of the promoter. So they have to be very cautious while entering into such acceptance of unsecured loans from their friends and relatives. So these are the legal aspects which RERA has tackled, and they have the RERA Act has given an importance of accepting not more than 10% without first registering the agreement for sale. Now, financial discipline, right from the beginning, the Act targets your deposits, your withdrawals, your utilization. So these three aspects are being targeted. And here, strictly, they have said that 70% of the amount has to be deposited in a separate account, and that separate account has to be used for only that project. So earlier, what the promoters did, the separate account was used for multiple projects. So now they have targeted all those projects where the same account has been used for multiple projects. They have sent those new notices, and they have freezed those accounts also. So this is very much important, that 70%, they are asking for the compliance for the 70% amount. 30% is allowed for the promoter to withdraw for his other purposes, such as his staff cost, his marketing cost, his commission and brokerage. So those type of cost is allowed from the 30% amount, but 70% he has to utilize it for the project. And many are having the doubt that 70% only once he get a certificate from the chartered account, can he entirely withdraw the 70%? It is not like that. He has to withdraw the actual cost incurred for the project. So that only can be withdrawn. So if his cost is 60%, he can only withdraw 60% amount from the account, not entire 70%. So this is a protection given to the money. And you can see the completion of the projects also, the certificates of Form 4 being uploaded on the project, and likewise the projects are getting completed due to this particular financial discipline. So they have touched upon legal aspects, they have touched upon the financial discipline, and also the performance discipline, because the extension here is being controlled. It is not given, first of all, if they are having 51% consent, then the extension is given. And then there is one more procedure. If there is not less than 51% consent, then they have to go to a further procedure of asking for permission of the chairman of the authority of proper hearing has been conducted, and then they have to give the reasons why the project is delayed, and on certain terms and conditions, then only they will be allowed to withdraw, allowed for the further extension. But here, if the promoter is not involved in any fraud or certain various other aspects of the projects wherein he is diverging, there is a diversion of the funds and the allottees don't want this promoter into the project, then unless and until such type of instances of fraud or misrepresentation is there, RERA authorities consider them for extension, because that is the apt solution which assures that at least there is a certain period of extension given and he will complete it. Because if further extension, if he is going on extending, then there will be serious repercussions on the part of promoter, unless there is a court order, stay of the court, any authority order due to which there is a long pending issue. So here, all sort of explanations and the documentation is done, then only the extension of the project is given. So these are the three types of diligence discipline being involved: legal, financial, and performance discipline given in the RERA. Then there are I would like to shortly introduce you. I won't go through entire slides because these are the sections. But here, right from the beginning, if you will see, there is section 3, from section 3, the performance starts of the developer, wherein he has to register the project. So then there is application section 4, wherein he applies for the project registration. Then section 5 comes, wherein he gets the certificate of registration, when he promises to deliver the project in a particular date, on a particular date. And if that date crosses, then he has section 6, wherein he can maximum claim a extension of 1 year. So that again, section 6 is not allowed to alter the definition of force majeure. Many promoters were having the habit of elaborating the force majeure definition, wherein non-availability of materials and all, they used to enter all those aspects in those force majeure, but it is now curtailed. And unless and until he resort to the old definition, what is given in the act, he is not allowed to register the project. So a strict scrutiny of agreement for sale is being done with respect to section 6. Even COVID benefit, they cannot mention that in the agreement. Only due to natural calamity and force majeure clauses and any code or order of the code, this clauses are only allowed in the agreement for sale. So that is taken well care of by the section 6. And then we have section 7. If further extension is required, then it is the choice of the authority based on the circumstances, whatever it is there in the project. And they can ask for, as per section 7 subsection 3, they can ask for a minimum 51% consent. If the developer failed to attain the consent of that 51%, then the authority will have the hearing, like I said. And unless and until he's a fraud, the extension will be given. And if he has misrepresented it or any violation of the act is there, then the RERA authority can freeze his accounts, freeze his project login, and all sort of his advertise. He will be blacklisted. His name will be circulated to entire country, all the authorities. So these are the various measures RERA authority can take under section 7. And if the project is further stalled, then the option is left under section 8, wherein the developer, wherein the first option is given to the allottees, whether the association of allottees can take over the project. And in most of the scenarios, we can see that it is not possible at times. And then the RERA authority will have to take the issue with the state government. So these are the various options under still section 8. Further, section 9 and 10, you can see that there is a registration of agents and the responsibilities of the agents. That is the only section, 2 sections which are talking about the registration and the responsibilities of the agent. And further, there are penalty sections for the agent. So these are the sections which are for the responsibility of the agent, and it is very important for them to adhere to this, because like promoter, between the allottee and the promoter, the main key is the agents. Through them only the project is conveyed to the allottees. So these are the main sections. And then further we have functions and responsibilities of promoter. So that is section 11, where he cannot advertise something which is false, and he cannot advertise which he knows that at the first instance I'm not going to provide to the allottees. So these are the advertisement or general functions, I can say, wherein he has to complete the project in time. He has to adhere to the date which is given in the project registration at the time of project registration. So all sort of compliances comes under section 11. He has to timely update the project. Quarterly compliance. Many of them ask, where is the restriction? Why the promoter is forced to update quarterly? Because it is given clearly under section 11 that promoter has to update the status of the project. That is both financial and the physical status. So for financial status, we have form 3. For physical status, we have form 1 and form 2. So these are the status which needs to be quarterly updated. Then he has to update the bookings and everything under section 11. So this section is very important with respect to the function of the promoter. Then comes to the specific sections of responsibility, such as section 12, wherein the promoter has to convey what are the promises he is making in those brochures, or you can say the prospectus. So that in that he has to particularly write whatever is true. He cannot say something which is false. And if he's giving any written representation or oral representation, something which is false in that case, then section 12, anyone can claim any compensation under section 12, because there are 4 sections in which compensations is given. That is section 12, 14, 18, and 19. So in these sections, the adjudicating officer plays an important role. So section 12, there is a specific responsibility. Then there is section number 13, wherein, as I already mentioned, that if he wants to accept more than 10% of the amount of the agreement value, then first registration of agreement is compulsory under section number 30. Then there is a section number 14. Section number 14 speaks about your 2 major responsibilities of the promoter with respect to the defect liability period, and secondly, your 2/3 consent with respect to any change, any major change as certified by the project architect. So major change with respect to the building and the commons area in the project, whatever registration he has taken in the project, anything related to the building and the common areas of the project. So he has to compulsory take 2/3 consent of the allottees. And if he's changing something in my flat, then he has to take my consent. It is not that he's making some changes in my flat and he's taking consent of other people. So that is not allowed. If he's changing something, there is a major change in my flat, he has to take my consent. And if he's changing in the project layout or something, then he has to compulsorily take 2/3 consent of the allottees in that particular project. And multiple, if the allottees, the units are allotted in multiple names, in my relative's name, then the vote will be considered as single vote. So that is given in section 40. And there is one more thing, is defect liability period, which starts from your possession, date of possession, and till 5 years. So that defect liability period, anything relating to workmanship, quality, deficiency in services, and that to tackle this section 14, they have come up with your quality assurance 2A certificate, wherein with various aspects were missing. Now they are asking the engineer whether the workmanship quality is there, whether there is any deficiency in service. So these are the questions they are asking to the engineer. And then if he's certifying that, and later on promoter, there is a leakage in the flats, then definitely the promoter will be taken at task, because here, if it is not as per the industry standards or whatever he is mentioning in annexure J of the agreement for sale, then definitely he will be taken at task, and section 14 can be challenged here. Then section 15 is there with respect to promoters, when there is a transfer of the project. So we have to take again your 2/3 consent in case of transfer of the project, and without that the project is not at all transferred in RERA. Currently also there is a separate procedure and for change in the promoter, unless there is a minor change, such as only the change in constitution from LLP to company, or only the partners are stayed. Yes, but majority stake, if it is changing, then also there has to be consent of the 2/3 allottees in the project. So that has been tackled by the section number 15. And then section 16 and 17. 16, I would say that title insurance. So now here the title insurance is only, I think so, 3 to 4 developers have opted for title insurance. The main reason is the cost of the premium, and ultimately it will be transferred to association of allottees. So here there were talks going on between the RERA authorities and the government and the insurance agencies. So hopefully that will be taken more promptly in case of title insurance in future. And then there is section number 17, that is conveyance. So conveyance, as per rule 9 in section 17, it is clear that the conveyance has to be done in case of single building. It is to be done within 3 months from the date of OC. If it is a plotting scheme, then once the plot is sold and the entire amount is recovered, so within 3 months of the entire amount is recovered, the conveyance has to be done. And if it is a layout, then the conveyance has to be done for the individual structure within 3 months from the date of the OC. And for the entire common area, podium, and rest part of the land has to be done within 3 months from the date of the OC of last building in that particular layout. So within 3 months of the date of OC of the last building in that particular layout. So that is section number 70. Then we have section number 18 and 19. So 18 is again there are 2 options with the allottees. If in case of project is delayed, whether he wants to continue in the project or he wants to exit. So if it is continuing in the project, he can ask for an interest compensation till the time he is, he can ask for interest till the time of completion of the project from the date of possession. And if he is not exiting the project, he can ask for the interest from the date of payment. So these are that is mentioned in case of section number 18, that is delay in possession. And then there is rights and duties of the allottees. So many things that there are only rights given to the allottees. It is not like that. There are duties of the allottees also. There are 5 rights given in the section 19, 5 duties mentioned. So rights are basically timely possession, to have the physical documentation, all the project documentations, his documentation with respect to the flats, to get the conveyance done, to have the society formed properly. So these are the rights. Then again, duties are that he has to make the timely payments. If he delays, then he has to make the interest payments, and he has to 100% participate in the society formation and the conveyance formation. So that talks about the section 19. Then these are the sections which are important for a professional also, to have a compliance perspective if you are into legal. So role opportunities revolve around these sections. These are the main sections wherein you get the response. The promoter is having the responsibility and the compliance part. As a chartered accountant, we can have a compliance of these sections, whether the promoter is following or not. Then we can do the due diligence of the project. Then as a legal professional, you can have litigation in this aspects, when you can challenge those uh, uh, various aspects if the promoter is not adherent to these sections. Then due diligence is also a part of this, because we have a title certificate. So search of 30 years is taken. So in title, whether all aspects are covered, whether there is an encumbrance in the project. So this is a separate. And then there is a conciliation procedure. So conciliation also, various professionals can have an active part, and you can represent till tribunal level. Chartered accountants can represent till tribunal level. And so all the aspects are available. New avenues are available. Getting compliance then is the most avenue, that is the remunerative, I can say, because now the timely completion of project will provide him a grading opportunity, and it will have a momentum from the promoter. So you will see a competition between, जिनको फर्क नहीं पड़ता उनको कुछ नहीं पड़ता है, उनको वो पेनल्टीज करके वहां पे बढ़ते रहेंगे, उनका प्रोजेक्ट स्टॉल होते रहेगा. लेकिन those promoters are also there who now wants to adhere to this RERA norms, and they want to comply with this, and they want to be ahead in the competition. So they will comply, and to get this compliance done is an opportunity for the professionals like us, and this will have a momentum for all of us. So what all these sections, whatever is written in the slides, I have covered. Yeah. Now coming to the penalties also, I would like to let you know in short what are the penalties also, because non-adherence of these sections, the penalties are very high for the promoters, agents, and even for the allottees. So you can say that if the non-compliance for the promoters is, then in the case is still tribunal level, we can say that up to 30% of the estimated cost of the project, the penalty can go. So a great level of I would say infinite sky is given for the Maharera authorities to have a heavier penalty on defaulter promoters, and there is no quantification for larger defaults. I would say that only for smaller defaults such as advertisements they have quantified. Now hopefully they will quantify for non-uploading of QPRs and all. So these are the small penalties they have quantified, but the larger penalties for non-compliance, major issues in the projects, they have still kept it open. So around, you can say 30% the promoter might be liable for the penalty of the estimated cost at various instances, as authority orders are not followed, tribunal orders are not followed, and along with a jail term. So there is a jail term of 3 years, so it can go up to 3 years. So these are the penalties for the promoter. And for section 3 itself, non-compliance of section 3 itself, there is a separate penalty. And from section 4 to till section 17, all other still section 18, all the promoters related section, there is a separate penalty of 5%. So yours for non-compliance of 3 itself, and if the case goes up to tribunal, then 30% till 30% the penalties can be charged. And for other sections, it can go up to 5% of the estimated cost of the project. And similarly, for agents also, there is a higher penalty, and it is a 10,000 rupees per day of the default, and till 5% of the cost of the transaction facilitated. That means the cost of the flat in which he is involved. So till that percentage, it can go up to, and if you will cumulatively have the effect, then it can around again go up to 20% of the penalty. So that can be charged on the agents. And for LOTs also, there can be two instances where the LOTs don't follow the orders of the authority and the tribunal. So if they are not following the orders of the authority, so their penalty can go up to 5% of the estimated cost of the flat. So of the cost of the flat. And if they are not following the tribunal, then further 10% and the imprisonment of 1 year. So for agent and for LOTs, the penalties is the jail term is around 1 year, and for promoter it is up to 3 years. So these are the quantified limits, I would say, of the penalties and mention offense for the offenses committed under the act. So these also, many agents are now registering properly on the projects on the Maharera portal, and they are complying with the training norms, getting the certifications done. So those who are very serious into this business, they will survive, and the fly by night operators will vanish from this sector, so that only a proper professional can deliver a proper flat, I would say complete flat to the final LOT. So these are various penalties which are there. So now I have given you a gist of this, all the sections and all the penalties here. I would take 10 more minutes, and I would ask your questions. So we can have a discussion for 10 minutes, then Amit will take it. So if you have any questions related to this, you can ask. Or any point of discussion, we can discuss. Yes, Vijay sir.
Anji. Thank you. So can we move to question and answers now?
Yeah.
So thanks, Aditya ji. Friends, we will now be taking up question and answers. If anybody has a question, you kindly raise your hand on this ego. I will immediately unmute you so that you can pose your question. And we would request Prabhu sir also to be online in case there are some queries for that also.
What about, I have got one direct message from Ashwin ji.
Yeah.
What about damages for not completing the project on time?
Yeah. Please respond.
What about the damages for not completing the project on time? So as I said, that if he is not completing the project on time, then very well the rights of LOTs are protected. They can have on demand. The promoter should give them the interest and everything. And even in case if he wants to exist and he has faced any mental agony or hardship, then definitely they can claim the compensation. So extension doesn't take away the right of the LOTs. That has been very well made clear. Only thing is, yes, obviously the case dependency of litigations have increased. The time tenure is around 2 to 3 years now, because you can see that cases filed in 21, 22 have not yet got the hearing. So that is very well their witness, but their rights are protected as far as given in the act. So giving away the extension doesn't take away the rights.
Any other queries, please? I think in the absence of queries, we can move forward. We welcome our past chairman, Mitish Bhai and Ashwin Bhai. Shashank Bhai, we can move forward, I believe, in the absence of queries.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can move.
Yeah. So I request our zonal secretary Akshay to propose a vote of thanks. Please, Akshay, please unmute and propose a vote of thanks.
First of all, I am thankful to all the participants for attending this webinar on the RERA. And then I am thankful to the speaker, C. Aditya Ji, for giving the detailed insight on the topic of RERA. It is very helpful to uh, the attendees, participants. And then I also thank our coordinator, NEC member Vijay Bhai. Further, I also thankful to the immediate past president Ashwin Bhai and past president Nitish Bhai Modi for attending the webinar. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Akshay ji. So, friends, with that, I request the chairman to announce the conclusion of this session. Shashank Bhai, please.
Hello, friends.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
बोलिए बोलिए
Sir, actually, redevelopment वाला एक PPT बाकी है छोटा. So should I take that?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Aditya has taken professional opportunities on RERA.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to take professional opportunities regarding redevelopment.
You can take it up now. So
should I
we have
continue?
been asking all this time. Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Sorry. Just hold on.
You have been given the rights to share it, Amit. You can do it.
Yes, just.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Whether my screen is visible? Yes, sir. Whether PPT is visible?
Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay. So this part is related with professional opportunities, related with redevelopment. This redevelopment issue is a burning issue in Mumbai and suburb as on today, because the age of all the societies constructed somewhere around 20 to 25, 30 years back is now due for reconstruction. So this redevelopment issue is going on in our city very fast. So this redevelopment means taking down your existing old structure and building up a new structure. Now, how we as a professional can look into the professional opportunities in all these things, apart from actual reconstruction activity, because reconstruction activity as a developer is also a professional opportunity, but as a professional, we may not get into that particular part. But definitely as a guiding factor, as a professional, we can help them in various aspects while the entire reconstruction process. This reconstruction process starts from the development agreement, from which builders developers take the plot of land which is having existing structure, and then
they take down that existing structure and build up a new structure. That is a overall concept. And while doing this particular activity, the main fact is they give free area to the existing unit holders. That is the main thing. Now, how the professional opportunity exists in all these things that we need to understand. And while doing that, we need to check whether as a housing society, do they have a right to demolish the existing building and reconstruct a new building. So yes, after amendment in Cooperative Act in 2019, now that particular loophole or lacuna is now plugged in. As per section 154B1 subsection 17, housing society definition is modified, and this modified definition is now included to demolish the existing building, reconstruction additional tenements or premises by using potential of the land. This particular part is added in the objective part of the housing society's definition. While going ahead to go for a reconstruction or redevelopment, there is a guidelines issued by state government under section 79A. This is a government directives given under the act. Now there are many litigations and discussions on whether this section 79A guidelines and all the things, whether that is a compulsory or advisory, whether to follow, whether not to follow. But as a professional, our role starts from discussion on this section 79A itself, because the court has given a verdict that this section 79A guidelines are a directive in nature and not a compulsory in nature, but it is recommendatory also. They had said that this is a recommended because clear-cut transparency is included in these guidelines. So it is recommended that say guidelines under section 79A should be followed. So there is a tussle between registrar and court of law, but the part is very clear that though the guidelines are recommendatory in nature, it is always good that you should follow the guidelines to avoid the litigation in courts. So as a professional, we should be aware of all these things. These are the guidelines. Original guidelines were issued in the year 2009, which was revised and updated through this particular government resolution in 2019. In this particular guidelines, they have instructed to take a special general meeting to take a decision of redevelopment. Earlier, this was not followed in many issues, many societies, and many members have made a complaint regarding this. Okay, without their consent, without their information, decision related with special general body, decision related with redevelopment has taken. So this special general body meeting, how to take this special general body meeting, how to pass resolution, that particular process has elaborated in these guidelines dated 4th July 2019. As per these particular guidelines, all the societies which are desirous to go for a redevelopment, they shall appoint any developer only through a special general body meeting, which is conveyed by following regulations of 2019 resolution by way of amendment in section 79A. The decision regarding redevelopment of buildings of housing societies shall be taken into special general body meeting only. So this is one of the special general body meeting which societies normally take, but the agenda and the process should be followed as per these particular guidelines. Then the decisions taken in this particular special general body meeting should be informed to the registrar within 15 days. That is also one of the requirements. And one important requirement is the authorized officer or administrator. If in any society there is an authorized officer or administrator appointed, then that particular authorized officer or administrator cannot take this type of special general body meeting for the purpose of redevelopment. To call this type of special general body meeting for redevelopment process, 1/5 of the member of housing society should call this type of special general body meeting. So there are ways how to call a special general body meeting. One of the way to call a special general body meeting is by way of passing a resolution, by way of calling or application by at least 1/5 members of a housing society. So at least 1/5 of the members of a housing society should apply to the chairman or a managing committee that we should have a special general body meeting for redevelopment process, and then based on that particular application, managing committee should consider this application within 8 days of receipt of this particular letter, and they should plan for this type of special general body meeting within 2 months from the date of such application received by a managing committee. So this way you can call a special general body meeting. For calling a special general body meeting for this type of special general body meeting, 14 days advance notice is required. In normal scenario for special general body meeting, you can call a special general body meeting having a 4 days notice also. But this type of special general body meeting, you should give a clear notice of 14 days. Before conveying such meeting, managing committee shall invite quotations from minimum 3 architects registered with Council of Architects or a project management consultant firm on the panel of government or local authority for presentation of project report regarding the redevelopment. So once the managing committee receives the application for redevelopment process, what they should do, they should on parallel lines, while calling the special general body meeting, they should call an architect or a project management consultant also with their quotation, which they can discuss in the special general body meeting. For the sake of transparency, the society should also create a website. They should put all the notices, meetings, PMC's details, architects' details, etc. on the website. This is a recommendatory nature as on today. I don't know how many societies follow this particular process, but for the sake of transparency, society should have a website and they should put all the information on public domain, especially for their members. They should put all the notices, minutes, etc. on the website related with this particular redevelopment process. And also they should intimate the concerned registrar within 15 days from the conveyance of this particular meeting about the decision taken in the meeting. In this particular meeting should be called as a primary discussion meeting. And in this particular meeting, they should not discuss and finalize the developers, but they should finalize the redevelopment decision. And for that, they should appoint a project management consultancy firm or an architect. And also the outline program pertaining to the redevelopment of a building. So overall program related with redevelopment is only need to be discussed in this particular special general body meeting. Normally what societies do, they do this type of special general body meeting and they decide the developer also in this particular meeting, but that should not be the process. They should appoint a project management consultancy or architect in this particular meeting, and overall outline for the overall redevelopment process they should finalize in that particular. Then, since this is a meeting, next question is what should be the quorum of the meeting? There is a red alert related with this particular quorum. For other type of special general body meeting, normal quorum is required, that is 20% of the members or minimum 20 members, whichever is lower figure. Once that particular figure is achieved, you can go and convey your meeting, but not for this type of meeting. For conveying special general body meeting for conveyance purpose, there should be 2/3 of total membership strength should attend this particular meeting. Then only you can start this type of special general body meeting. And what if the quorum for this particular meeting is not fulfilled? If quorum is not fulfilled, then the meeting should be adjourned to the 7 days notice, and next meeting should be reconvened. So minimum 7 days notice you should give, and you can have a meeting within next 1 month. And in next 1 month also, if there is no quorum, then you cannot take a meeting or you cannot take a decision until expiry of next 3 months. Because if no one is interested in coming forward for an special general body meeting, then you cannot have the special general body meeting without a quorum. In case of a normal meeting or in case of a normal special general body meeting, you can have a meeting after, say, adjournment of half an hour, adjournment of 1 day, adjournment of 7 days, with whatever quorum you have. But in case of this type of meeting, you cannot have a meeting. And further, you cannot take this type of meeting for the next 3 months for taking a decision. If meeting is conveyed with appropriate quorum, then suggestions, recommendations, objections from the members should be called for, and thereafter you should take a decision with minimum 51% of the total membership strength of a society that should be in favor of a redevelopment process. I will give just an example. If there is a 100-member society, then to convey a meeting, first of all, 1/5 of a member should apply for special general body meeting. That means minimum 20 members should take an initiative. They should apply to the managing committee for conveyance of this particular type of meeting. Then for actual meeting day, there should be minimum 67 members, 2/3 membership. That means out of 100, minimum 67 members should be present for that particular meeting. And out of those 67 members, minimum 51% of the total membership strength, means again 51% of total membership strength, which is a 100 members society, minimum 51% members should give vote in favor of a redevelopment. Though only 67 members attended that particular meeting, but minimum 51% members, that means minimum 51 members should give their consent for a redevelopment. That too, this consent should be in writing and not by any other method. So these are the red points, or these are the alert points which should be followed in every meeting for a redevelopment process. In this regard, the approvals, opinions, remarks expressed in writing, orally, or in any other mode of communication by any member absent in the special general body meeting shall not be taken into consideration. That means any member who is not present for the meeting cannot give his vote, cannot give his views, cannot give his opinion in writing or otherwise. So a person who wants to take participation in a decision making for a redevelopment of a housing society, he should attend the meeting physically and personally. Following the decision on approval of redevelopment, the below mentioned business shall be conducted with approval of special general body meeting as stated in above. So second agenda point for this particular meeting should be appointment of an expert and experienced architect project management consultant from panel of government. So agenda number 2 for this particular meeting should be, first agenda should be whether to go for a redevelopment or not. And if answer is yes, then agenda number 2 should be appointment of an expert as a PMC or architect for taking out a feasibility report. And agenda number 3 should be presentation of outline of a program regarding redevelopment of a building. Then after the meeting, circulation of minutes within 7 days and acknowledgement thereof should be maintained in record, and copy thereof to be presented to the office of registrar. So registrar's communication within 7 days from the meeting date, that is also one of the compulsory point. Then one more compulsory point is to obtain a written consent letter from the members agreeing for proceeding with the redevelopment. So out of the total attended members, 51% members consent should be obtained in writing. Then appointment to an architect or project management consultant within 30 days from the date of meeting is also there. Mind this, all these are the recommendatory or recommended guidelines given by state government. This is not a compulsory thing, but if someone wants to follow the transparency, then these are the points to consider as on today. Then architect or PMC consultant, what they will do the land survey, they will take out what is the FSI available, whether TDR purchase is possible or not. They will prepare their feasibility report. Then they should give their report. It is expected that they should give their report within 2 months. Then such report to be submitted to the managing committee. Then these are the documents that PMC or architect should consider while finalizing of a feasibility report. Then after receipt of the feasibility report, the secretary of the society should convey their managing committee meeting. This should be a special type of managing committee meeting, not a regular managing committee meeting. This is for the purpose of discussion on the feasibility reports given by the managing committee. Then after receipt of the feasibility report, each member of the society should be intimated about the feasibility report and its availability for inspection in a society office. It is not expected that managing committee or management should circulate the feasibility report to each and every members, but this feasibility report should be kept in office and it should be kept open for suggestions for 7 days prior to the next managing committee meeting. So whatever is the suggestion of an ordinary member, they should also give their suggestion in the coming managing committee, and then secretary should convey the managing committee meeting. Then in this managing committee meeting, a comprehensive decision should be taken. So how to go ahead, whether there is a feasibility or not, that type of decision should be taken in this particular managing committee meeting. Then based on this feasibility report, based on your requirement, you should draft, as a managing committee, you should draft a tender document. And on the tender document, date, time and venue of next managing committee should be finalized. You should call for tendering then that particular tender should be kept open. Then if less than 3 tenders are received, then one more opportunity or one more week's extension to be given for more bidders, and then finally the tender should be opened in a general body meeting. And this type of general body meeting is to be called in the presence of registrar of cooperative societies. So this calling for registrar of a cooperative society should be the last point where you should open the tenders and you should select the appropriate developer based on the tendering process. Entire documentation and entire things are to be kept on record, including the appointment of authorized officer for this particular purpose, appointment of a registrar for this particular purpose. One more requirement is this type of meeting should be done in video recording mode. Quorum for this particular special general body meeting is again 2/3 of total membership strength of the society, and voting should be minimum 51% of the total members of the society. Then this type of means all the how to conduct this particular special general body meeting, how the required quorum, if not there, then how to move ahead. That type of rules which we already discussed are same for this particular meeting also. Then next is after selection of a developer, development agreement stage will come, and in development agreement stage, within 3 months from the date of selection, it is expected that development agreement is to be finalized under guidance of PMC and architect. Then depending on size of a society, construction period should be finalized, which shall not be less than 2 years, shall not be more than 3 years. This is a recommendatory thing. Again, based on your actual project size, this particular timeline may go beyond this also. Then as per this recommendation, the developer shall give a bank guarantee to the extent of 20% of total value of a redevelopment project. So it is expected that developer should give a 20% bank guarantee, which is not a practical thing in my opinion. And no one in the market is offering this particular bank guarantee. But this is again a recommendation. You can skip this particular point. Then during the period of redevelopment, the developer shall furnish alternative accommodation. That is again based on decisions taken in development agreement between developer and a society based on feasibility report, how the alternative accommodation and how the monthly rent to be paid, that is to be freezed in based on development agreement. Then the development agreement with the society and permanent alternative accommodation agreement with individual members shall be registered under the Registration Act. The new members shall be admitted to the society only on the completion of redevelopment process. Carpet area should be calculated as per RERA guidelines. Redevelopment rights to be given to the developer shall be non-transferable. So you should keep in mind through development agreement also that developer should not resell the project outside. The tenement holding members shall vacate their tenements only after all legal sanctions and accorded from the building redevelopment or upon registration of permanent alternative accommodation agreement executed within the individual members. Then rights of the persons who are in possession of a flat shall remaining in the act. So all the rights of all the existing members will always remain under the act. Then work contract agreement between architect society must contain a provision for resolution of any dispute may arise in due course of redevelopment work by virtue of 91 of them. So all these are the administrative process. Then upon grant of OC, the allotted flats and how the meeting in presence of registrar is again need to be conveyed. That is also given under this particular recommendation. Then no committee member or office bearer of the society shall either be developer or his relative. That is also given in the recommendatory principle, recommendatory guidelines. The building plan sanctioned by municipal corporation competent authority must be placed again before the special general body meeting for the information, and if member desires to obtain a copy of a sanction paper, then he should make a written application to the society in this regard. So all the documentation and everything should be provided to the existing members who want the copy of the same. So till this particular point, we discussed how the Section 79A recommendations are there. All the recommendations are professional opportunities for the professionals, because many a times normal society member, managing committee member, and even professional working in this particular field, they don't even know that these type of guidelines are there, this type of instructions are there. So if you guide any society in any redevelopment project, that particular point can add a value addition in this particular field. And of course, final authority for any type of decision making in this particular area lies with a society and with their annual general body meeting. So whatever is annual general body meeting decides is a final thing if they are deciding with a majority of annual general body meeting. This is a bottom line. That is the reason the principles given under section 79A are directive in nature. Because if annual general body meeting don't want to follow directives given under section 79A with a majority, then that particular part you can skip. Any part in the guidelines you can skip as a society. But that is always be a risky position for a society, because if you do not follow the transparency, then entire process of redevelopment may come in trouble. In addition to this particular guiding and guidance for the process of redevelopment, how we can help. In addition to that, there are two aspects. That is a tax aspect related with GST and related with income tax. Both the parts we need to check as a project in a redevelopment for a professional opportunity. Both the parts gives a tremendous opportunity. And now in this particular case, many a times, not only for the societies under redevelopment, developer under redevelopment also needs guidance if he is not a well-established developer. So GST on supply of transfer of development rights, we call it as a TDR or FSI calculation. In that particular part also, the redevelopment project liabilities, GST payment lies with a developer under the RCM. So you need to be very careful as a promoter or a developer. Whenever you are entering into a redevelopment agreement or a development agreement, the liability to pay GST lies with the developer under the RCM, which is a huge liability. You cannot escape the liability. The second type of liability under GST Act is on supply of residential unit by developer to the society in lieu of supply of TDR or FSI by the society. There is a new flat provided against the old flat. This is a barter transaction. Again, this particular barter transaction is taxable under the GST law. Then who is liable to pay this particular GST? Technically speaking or lawfully speaking, liability to pay this GST lies on the buyer, who is an existing member of a society. But if through development agreement, society make this particular point clear that whatever GST liability, whether it is related with the society or whether it is related with the individual member, lies with the promoter only. Then again, that will be a liability on the shoulder of a promoter. But for that, before development, before you enter into a development agreement, you should be very clear on this particular. Because if you do not put this particular clause under the development agreement, then liability to pay the GST for an individual member lies on the shoulder of a individual. Then sale of residential unit by developer to the outsider. This is a clear-cut liability on the shoulder of a developer, not on a society's existing member. Then any type of sale of additional area. So again, who will pay the GST liability on additional area? How to discharge that particular liability should be clearly included in PAAA agreement, that is a permanent alternative accommodation agreement. Then sale of commercial units by developer to the outsiders. How the developer will sell commercial units to the outsiders and how the GST liability is included in that is also to be checked. Then if we go to the Income Tax Act, in case of Income Tax Act, normally many members, as a common member or a common man, they consider that we are getting a new unit in exchange of our old unit, so income tax liability will not be there. But that is not the case. As per definition of income tax, capital asset, this particular thing is also called as a transfer. If we check section 2, section 47, transfer in relation to capital asset, that also includes the sale, exchange, or relinquishment of a right of a asset. So this is a type of sale or exchange of your rights in a asset. So this is definitely covered under the definition of a transfer, and capital gain is definitely going to impact the existing member of the society. Definitely this is not a trouble for a housing society per se. As a society, there will not be any capital gain, but members of a housing society, for them, there is a transfer, and for them, they are going to be taxed under the capital gain. This particular capital gain, if there is a capital gain, next question will be when that particular capital gain will be charged or when that particular capital gain should be calculated. This is the income of the previous year in which the transfer took place. And when transfer took place, in normal scenarios, transfer took place in a year of signing of PAAA agreement. And when you are going to get the possession, 2 years or 3 years after that particular year. So you need to be very careful while entering into PAAA agreement and calculation of capital gain for the same. Special provisions for computation of capital gain. Though the capital gain is going to be calculated in a year of transfer took place, there is a special provision by way of amendment in insertion in section 45 by way of subsection 5A. This was inserted in the year 2018. According to this particular section, when the transferee is individual or HUF, from transfer of capital asset being land or building or both, the capital gain shall be chargeable to income tax as an income of the previous year in which certificate of completion for the whole or part of the project is issued by the competent authority. So, capital gain will be calculated in a year of construction completion. In normal scenario, that particular income is income of the previous year in which transfer took place, but it should be calculated in the year of construction completion by the competent authority. But as we all know, Income Tax Department 26S, AIS, TIS data, they do not follow these particular subsections as it is. Based on information given by registrar, your 26S and AIS will be shown transfer in a year of transfer year only. So execution of PAAA agreement only. So you need to give reply in the year of execution of agreement also, and you need to give reply in the year of actual construction completion certificate also. Then relief from capital gain is also there under section 54 and 54F by way of reinvestment in a new asset. So that type of benefit also you can take by way of applicability of section 54 and 54F. So actual capital gain tax payment may not be there if you are going to hold the new premises. Then additional area, cash component received for additional area, then society amount of corpus and any other amenities, facilities in the hands of society are also to be checked very carefully. That is also one of the professional opportunity. Then any other corpus money received by an individual member, received by a society as a whole, that also to be checked. Then rent for temporary alternative accommodation agreement, whether to be taxable or not taxable. There are many judgments related with this of ITAT and also of the High Courts that if that is a hardship allowance, then that particular rent should not be there. Again, that particular hardship allowance need to be defined in your development agreement itself. So drafting of a development agreement is a crucial in case of a redevelopment. Then any other reimbursement or any other facilities given by a promoter to individual members also we need to check. And last but not the least, the liquidation and disbursement of existing sinking fund and any other fund lying with existing society in the hands of a society, in the hands of a individual members. Because what happens when a society is having funds in the under the name of sinking fund, repairs fund, or any other fund with a society, then how to deal with this particular situation when new members are also going to come in this particular society and they are also going to share existing funds of a society. Then how to liquidate those funds, how to share those funds. One thing is sure, distribution of funds of a housing society is not possible to all the members, but any amount collected by a sinking fund or any other fund, the principal amount can again go back to individual members without any taxation impact by making a special resolution in a society. So that type of situation, that type of decision making is also there. For that also again a professional advice is required. Then Section 194IA, Section 194IC related with TDS provisions are also there. So while doing all these things, TDS deductions and provisions of TDS are also to be checked very carefully as a professional opportunity. So I always say in case of a RERA and redevelopment of housing society, suffer the pain of discipline or suffer the pain of regret for the housing societies or as a professional also. With this, I will stop here for question and answers. So if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask.
Thanks, Amit, for such a detailed and elaborative presentation. It was really nice the way you have explained the provisions relating to redevelopment. And on behalf of the AIFTP West Zone, I would like to thank you once again.
Yes, thank you.
I'm
Thank you,
sorry for this miscommunication that had happened.
sir. No, no, that is okay.
Any questions on this, please? If members have any question to ask to Amit.
Please provide PPT.
Yeah, Ashwin bhai, please.
Please provide PPT.
Yeah.
Yes, I already shared my PPT with Prabhu sir. Prabhu sir will share both the PPTs.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll get it collected.
Thank you.
I think Aditya also and Amit also, we request you both to share the PPTs. And
Both the PPTs are with Prabhu sir. Yes.
okay, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Any further questions? Akshay, you can once again give a vote of thanks.
I am
This
once
will be
Sorry for
final.
miscommunication from my side also.
I am once again thankful to all the attendees for attending this insightful seminar on RERA. I sincerely thanks to both the speakers, Prabhu sir, for giving us the insight on RERA. Then I am thankful to the coordinator Vijay Keval Ramani ji, our NEC member. I am also thankful to CA Kamlesh Sabu ji for organizing such a good seminar and conducting and coordinating with the speakers. Further, I am also thankful to all the NEC members and past chairmen of AIFTP Western Zone for attending this seminar. Thank you all.
Thanks, Akshay. And friends, thank you all once again for joining. Thanks to Ramesh Prabhu sir and Aditya and Amit for giving us a lot of information on the professional opportunities as well as the redevelopment issues in RERA. Thank you. And with this, I would like to announce that this session has ended. The chairman had to go out somewhere, so in his absence, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be there chit-chatting for 5 minutes and then we can close the session.